Well, then, traditional publishing in science fiction and fantasy has been a race to the bottom for a long, long time. I've been calling them out over here, one of the only channels who does so, one of the only book influencers out there that actually takes on the industry. And it's because of the way they treated me, among others. And we'll get into that here. But this is getting to peak crazy as even the people in their clout positions, the New York Times writers, they know that fantasy traditional publishing is impossible for a white male author at this point. And I've been told this up and down the industry. It's been a train wreck. And I've got a lot of authors who talk to me behind the scenes who are not supposed to talk to me. It's really funny. There's one book corporation that they actually have listed that in science fiction fantasy that they're not allowed to acknowledge me. It's really, really funny. They have their staff. It's like, are you crazy? I've got a nearly 40,000 subs on YouTube. When I covered Richard Fox last week, we sold him. He said he had his best book sales day in a month. You should just be nice. I mean, you'd think it'd be pretty easy. Oh well, what can you do? But this is getting wild. And white males can no longer get published in traditional publishing. It is racism at its worst. And it's been encouraged and started since the 2010. The DEI agenda has pervaded through science fiction and fantasy. And we'll get into this news in just a moment. My name is John Delarose, everybody. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I've been blacklisted since 2017 when I actually went out and put on a Trump hat and posted it to Facebook. My editor went after me, who's currently running for the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association presidency. I guess they'll have the election tomorrow, and we'll be reporting on that. Total cancel pig. And so what I did after that is I went out and I published myself. And this was my book that I first published for Steam and Country. And it's part of a Baron von Monocle series. It's a fantasy series with airships. A lot of influence from Final Fantasy is what I drew from a lot. And this sold like hotcakes. I ended up selling over 30,000 copies of this book. And I didn't need traditional publishing. So if you want to know what Amazon gets, I end up getting about $2.70 a pop on that. So did pretty well in this book, and I've got the 5 sequels going through too. So every time that people read all 6 books, does very well for me. Thank you guys for doing so. And all I did was just tell fiction that was fun with real heroism, with a cast of characters who are likable and interesting. And I didn't worry about any kind of agenda or anything like that. I just wrote what I felt like. And that's exactly what you can do in independent space now. And that's why it's so powerful to be an independent author. So I'm going to put this in the description below. You can grab this, check out my fantasy world. Really picks up with book 2 and 3 and then really goes wow. I do that. I kind of slow burn things, set up the world in book 1, and then the series goes bonkers after that. And you'll love it. So check it out. Like I said, in the description below, grab all the books. Just plow through the whole series this weekend. And I appreciate you guys for being there. Thank you so much for reading, and thank you for making it possible to be an independent author and succeed in this space. The readers are what matters, and that's the one thing that these companies forget. So like I said in my blog here, Fandom Pulse, which you should subscribe to also, it started in 2010 when woke activist Kay Tempest Bradford started using race and gender baiting for clout within publishing. She posted a blog urging people to stop reading straight white male authors. I'm dead serious. She says, don't read straight white male authors for a year. It was literally the title of a blog. It is 100% racism. It's anti-white. It's anti-male. It's sexism, racism, straightophobia. Whatever you want to call it. It's literal. I mean, these people, they project. All the little words that they throw at you all the time, it's total projection on their front. Now, I agree with you. I do agree with her. This is her picture from her blog. I didn't do this. But yeah, good idea not to read Neil Gaiman at this juncture. Thank you, Kay Tempest Bradford, for being ahead of the curve on that. But she used this and parlayed it to get industry clout. She's now writing Star Wars novels. It's ridiculous. And so this is where these people come into the industry and do this. Other activists have done similar. Even back in the day, it's so crazy that I've got a fantasy author friend who's in mainstream publishing who I won't name. And that person told me that in New York publishing, this person was a Bernie Sanders supporter in 2016, and like when mentioning it, this person, I'm trying very careful not to give anything away. The publishing industry lambasted this person for not supporting Hillary Clinton because feminism, because we need a female president. How dare you? I mean, even within that little subset of leftism, it's just not. You have to be perfect in what you support exactly, or they try to cancel you. And this person had a cancel campaign done against them. Another race baiter went after them, started writing articles about just like how terrible they were. And this is a leftist. Like, it was crazy. And it opened up this person's eyes to, oh, these people are this awful. I sat down actually in 2019, 2020, talked with an agent, a literary agent who's at a major literary agency and at a writers conference, and just spoke. And you know, I talked in because I was like, I'm selling this many books. Do you think anybody in TradPub would be able to do anything for me? They told me like, no. I mean, even if you went to TradPub at this point, you might get it like a $2,000 advance on your book. And not this book. It was for a different book at the time because I'm already selling this many copies. What, can they do anything for me? They don't offer anything. They don't really promote you or anything like that. They try to let you fly to the wind, and if you happen to be a success, then they promote you at that point. And this literary agent told me at the time that this is in YA and children's fiction, if you didn't feature a female protagonist or the BIPOC or LGBTQ themes in these books, they'd immediately turn you down. So if you had a white male protagonist who was straight, or if you're a white male author and you know all that, you're just done. And that was 4 years ago. It's gotten even worse since then. So now there's a New York Times columnist named Ross Douthat, and he has thrown in the towel because he can't get his fantasy novel traditionally published. And this was brought to our attention by this guy, Fredosphere here, who made a wonderful thread on all this on X and showed it, New York Times columnist. And he says, even he's given up on trad publishing for this fantasy novel. I think that's a big deal. And he said, as a columnist at the New York Times, you'd think that he'd have just about the best chance out of anyone for getting a contract from a major publisher for his first foray into fiction. But no, he met a stone wall of rejection because, he's a male, period. They don't want you in fantasy at this point. So instead of publishing the novel he's publishing the novel in serial via Substack. Anyone will be able to read the first 12 chapters as they come out for a cost of a typical bookstore hardcover. Subscribers can read the whole thing. He offers various metadata, including maps. I love this conceit. This map should not be regarded as fully accurate in every particular, may be subject to revision or supersession, depending on what future research in the Imperial Archives might reveal. Douthat describes the novel as not having been edited by anyone but himself, so there's a certain confessed amateurism to this project, but I can report the first chapter is a banger. And here's the Substack right here, his serialized deal. I'm loving Substack. It's a good free speech space, and that's why I'm writing my articles on there now. That someone in Douthat's position can't get a TradPub contract kind of shocks me. Maybe it shouldn't. And this comes on the heels of more Black Pill Neils. My hero, Tim Powers, recently lost his longtime publishing contract after a disappointing sales trajectory. I've reacted to this one on my blog. Not surprising, they're two completely different skills, and fantasy market is tight and fierce. I've got to really stand out more as extraordinary. To hit the right way is what a commenter says. Now, this is interesting, and I do think it's actually mostly because of being a white male, and they just do not respect that at this point. You're done. You cannot get published at this juncture when you do this. And so this is what's happening. Even Brandon Sanderson, if you look at it, his trajectory over the last few years, he moved to Kickstarter, and he did so and produced the biggest novel Kickstarter of all time on there. Then moved to to BackerKit, and just mined those backers again. And he's been doing things himself. I mean, he's got his big door stoppers still with Tor Books. I think he has a contract there, but I think he sees the writing on the walls that these companies don't do anything for you, and they're all about just promoting these random people. If you walk into a bookstore now, you can't walk into the YA section in fantasy. Like every book It has a lesbian black girl on the cover kissing another lesbian black girl. It's all you can find. They don't display them out. And by the way, those displays, that's the primary thing that book publishing does. If you don't know this, what gets displayed at bookstores, the companies pay for those spaces. They're not just like randomly put there. So at Barnes and Noble and the like, Tor Books will put out those black lesbian authors intentionally, and they'll just, like, if you have your book as a white male, they'll just let you, like, even if they pick one up in the book buyer, which they might not at that juncture, they'll just let you be on the standard shelf and just not as easy to be found. And that's how it's done. That's how they try to manipulate the book market. And nothing that you see traditionally is organic. It's all bought and paid for. It's all corporate done. And even New York Times authors now are seeing the writing on the wall that they can't make it in this racist and sexist industry. Really is. All right. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to go Substack and sign up for my Substack to not miss my articles on these hot topics. And do check out For Steam and Country and its sequels. Grab the whole series, guys. It'll be awesome. It's wonderful how it picks up. It's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for the tremendous support. We've been selling books like hotcakes, and it's all because of people like you who we definitely respect. We'll be back soon.